Hello everyone and welcome to our Psych project. In this video, I'm going to tell you what you're expected to do for the Psych project and how to earn the best grade possible. This assignment is designed to combine psychology, creativity, symbolism, and gameplay into one interactive project. Throughout the semester, you will be creating psychologically themed game cards that teach psychological concepts through the use of gameplay mechanics. I want you to think of yourself as both a psychology student and a game designer. Now, an important thing to understand is that you will complete two separate Psych projects this semester. The first one will be done at around the middle of the semester, and the second one will be done towards the end of the semester. For each of the Psych projects, you're going to create 8 cards and you're going to make one video presentation. And when you turn it in, you're going to turn in your script as well. Your script can be just an outline, or it could be the full script if you created a full script. That means that by the end of the semester, you will have created 16 total cards and 2 videos. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about the cards. For each of the Psych decks, you're going to create 8 original cards based on the psychological concepts, theories. It can be disorders or experiments you read about, brain functions or behaviors you're interested in, or whatever psychological process or concept interests you about the class. All of your cards must be handmade. And so when you turn them in and you show them in the video, they should be tangible things that I can look at and hold in my own hands. Now you can model your cards on any game that you can think of, so long as it's a real game. Some examples might be that you might use Monopoly. Monopoly has chance cards, community chess cards, or property cards. And you could take whichever one of those cards fits your psychological concept best in order to create one or more of the decks of your card. You might use tarot cards. Maybe the cards you want to use or the concept you're going to describe is a little bit more mystical in your mind. You can also create fantasy RPG cards like Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering cards. You could do Uno cards or Clue cards, or any other card from any other game that works best for you. Now, each of your cards must have 4 things. The first one is a title. The title should clearly identify the psychological concept. The second is a symbolic visual. This can be a drawing, a collage, a digital image of some sort, icon, or your own artwork that represents the psychology. I want to remind you though that your cards must be handmade. So even if you're going to get some image from the internet somehow, you must create something out of it. Whether it's you cutting it out to make a collage or using a part of it and then drawing the other part of it, your cards should be made by you. The third thing is going to be the gameplay function of it. This is going to be one of the most important parts of the assignment. You need to explain how the card would work in the actual functioning of the game. The gameplay effect should connect in a meaningful way to the psychological concept itself. For example, if your card is about memory loss, then maybe when you play it, your opponent is forced to lose some of his cards. Maybe if your card is about reinforcement, in order to gain some experience points, you have to repeat a behavior 3 times or something like that. Or maybe if your card is about fight or flight, you force your opponent to choose fight or flight, and then some consequence occurs in relation to that. I want you to be creative, but your gameplay should connect in a meaningful way to the actual concept. And then fourth, you need to be able to explain the actual psychological concept. What does it mean? What's the definition? Is there any research? How does it apply to people's lives? And then you want to be able to explain how the mechanics works with the concept. This is the point where you're able to explain how your design accurately represents the concept that you have chosen from the book. Now, once you have created your 8 cards, now it's time to make your video presentation. The video should include all 8 cards. So demonstrate each card as you're talking about it, and make sure you describe all of the important aspects of the card. Explain the psychological concept, maybe why you chose the concept, what does it mean, what are the definitions, how is the card going to be used in the game, and why the gameplay effects are related to the actual psychological concept. I want you to speak in the video as if though the card is real, and think of it as if though you were giving a tutorial to people who want to play the game on how that card gets played. I want you to treat your ideas seriously and creatively. Think of yourself as both a psychology student and a game designer. Your video doesn't have to be professionally edited. I care much more about your clarity, the effort you're putting in, your creativity, and your understanding of the psychological concepts. When you're making your video, especially if you don't love to see yourself in video, you can do what I'm doing now and create a PowerPoint and just narrate. However, if you do that, there are a few requirements. I need to know that this video was made by you, and so you're going to put a picture of yourself in that first slide and in that last slide. And make sure that when you're speaking, I can hear your voice and not some AI reader. I want to be able to hear you. Now, for each of the Psych Deck projects, I will give you 2 grades. The first grade is going to focus on the quality of the cards, the creativity, the symbolism, the accuracy of the psychological concepts, and how well the gameplay mechanics connects to the psychology concept. The second grade is going to be on the video. And here I'm going to focus on your explanation, your communication, how well you organize your presentation, how well you understand the concepts, and your ability to clearly discuss your cards and their psychological meaning. So remember that your cards matter and your video matters. You should sound excited by your own ideas and not confused by them. This is going to be one of the main ways that I determine how much of the work is from your own imagination and research versus how much you used AI or any other source. In order to convince me that this is your work, you should sound knowledgeable and interested in your own assignment. I definitely suggest that you rehearse a few times and that maybe you retake the video a few times. I also suggest that if you're unsure about what a word is, for example, if you catch yourself saying, "Oh, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly," well, in your second take, check how to pronounce that word. Go to Google. The pronunciation of most words will be available to you, so that way you can sound as credible and as knowledgeable as you possibly can in your video. I also want to reiterate that you should cite all of your sources. Cite your book. Cite any other research that you looked at, any other web page that you looked at. Cite whatever AI system you're using. AI is a great tool, but you want to make sure you cite it correctly. Also, AI is not accurate all the time. That is not how AI works. AI does not check its own work. And so you have to do that to make sure that everything you're presenting is as accurately explained as possible. A final thought here. The goal of the Psych Deck is not just memorization. This project is about translating psychological ideas into systems, symbols, stories, and mechanics. It asks you to think creatively while demonstrating real academic understanding. One of the best ways to study and to learn something is to take a complicated concept and make it understandable through creativity, through visuals, and through presentation. Now, I'm very excited to see what you guys create, and I hope you have fun building your psych decks. Please contact me if you have any questions.